Every venue has a story. Today we gather round to hear another. Welcome to Behind Our Doors. Travel with us as we navigate behind the scenes of location-based entertainment venue. Brought to you by the LBX Collective, your community to connect, engage, and inspire. Lean in, folks. Some of the best-kept secrets await.
All right, well, welcome everybody to Behind Our Doors. I'm Brandon Wiley, and today we are heading to Uptown Jungle in Levine, Arizona. Uptown Jungle is a city-themed indoor playground, and they've really reimagined family entertainment active play with their focus on immersive design, making sure that kids are out there and running around, and as well as community connection. They really wanted to found there's some of the belief that kids deserve more than just a bounce house or a jungle gym, and so they combine trampolines, climbing walls, obstacle courses, massive soft play, interactive features, and a bunch of other stuff all under one roof. With multiple locations they now have across the Southwest, this brand has earned a loyal following for its clean facilities, energetic staff, and great birthday party experiences that kids absolutely love. So today, Uptown Jungle continues to grow as a standout in the family entertainment industry by blending creativity, safety, and operational excellence. So without further ado, let's check out Uptown Jungle.
Hi, welcome to warm and sunny Phoenix, Arizona. We're here in Levine, which is in southern Phoenix at Uptown Jungle. My name is Brad Collins, and I'm the CEO and president of Uptown Jungle. We're going to give you a nice little behind-the-scenes tour today, so come on in. This is one of our 10 locations throughout the southwestern United States, and we have more to come, hopefully to announce soon. So as you walk into Uptown Jungle, you'll notice we have a main check-in area for all our regular attendance guests and some waiver stations where everyone signs waivers. And off to the side, we have a party check-in, so we are able to keep the party guests a little bit separate from the regular guests. And we have our lovely assistant manager, Alexis, ready to check you in when you arrive. So that way it keeps all the hustle and bustle of busy Saturdays separate. So everyone signs a waiver when they come in, and they get checked in right here. We have different pricing based on weekdays and weekends, and also a toddler time in the mornings on weekdays. We do require grip socks, and we're pretty proud about some of our different grip socks that we have. As you can see, we have everything from dinosaurs to tails, and unicorns with wings, and pizzas and popcorn and skeletons. So really hits all the kids' favorites. Uptown Jungle is definitely built for kids ages 1 to 10, as you see today. Once they start getting around that 11 or 12 age, they start aging out a little bit. So we'll go through some of the attractions we have. Most of our locations have similar attractions with a few one-offs here and there. So one of our more popular attractions are climbing walls. As you can see, we have at this location 7 different climbing points. Kids love to clip in and test their abilities and go as high as they can. And even in some of these walls race each other. This one with the individual pillars is very exciting because obviously there's really nowhere to put your hands, so it adds another level of fear into it, but it's definitely very popular. And then we have our trampolines, which are always popular. Just a small set here, but perfect size for a small game of dodgeball or to jump around or to see what kind of skills you can do. But nice and simple and small and enclosed. Kids love the trampolines and testing out their acrobatic skills. And also inside our locations, we'll throw in some other fun things such as photo booths and hurricane machines, as you can see. We also have a few claw games for people to participate in. And then over in this corner, we have our, what we call our Uppy Mart. Uppy's our mascot, and his mart over here is where we sell our food and beverage. Currently, Uptown Jungle does not do any hot food, so everything's pre-packaged. But we are just a month away from getting into hot pizza. So we've been in the process of purchasing new ovens and kitchen equipment, and really excited to offer hot and fresh pizza to all our guests. So that's going to be a change we're going to be announcing here in about a month's time. So as you can see, everything's pre-packaged and as it is now. And then the next area I'll take you to is our sports court. We do have an air floor, but it is under maintenance right now. But we do put just padding down if people just want to simply play a fun game of soccer or basketball. But usually there's an 8-inch inflatable floor throughout that's just getting maintained today. But a very fun spot for kids to hang out, and especially the adults. Adults always claim they don't want to play, but it's very easy to catch them shooting some baskets when no one's looking, and asking if they want to play after that. So, and then we start getting into our main play structure. It's kind of all connected. We do a lot of bridges and connectivity, so kids can get from one side of the park to the other without even going back on the ground level. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of slides throughout, different ways to enter, stairs. Warp walls, so it's just a lot of different ways to get in and out, which kids really love. Excuse the piano in the background, but this is our toddler area for children 5 and under. So it's a big hit. Parents love that there's a place to play for the little ones. They don't have to get trampled by the big kids. And it has kind of smaller versions of everything what the rest of the park has to offer. Everything from the light bright, and up there we have bricks that kids play with. They can pretend like they're building their own little wall up there. They have a roller slide, little ball pit, and a little merry-go-round, and some teacups to spin around too. So again, it's just a really nice area for the little ones 5 and under to play without getting trampled by those big kids, because those big kids, they start playing and they're just running around everywhere. So we also have it gated in, so that way a parent can sit here to not worry about their kid keep trying to run out quickly. That way the parents can sit down too and rest for a few minutes too while the kids exhaust themselves. Oops, grab the wrong side. So this is another section of our play structure here. This is more of the play structure that's a little bit closer to kind of a ninja course, if you will. So a little bit higher difficulty, but again, kids of all ages enjoy it and play on it. And it's got 2 levels with 4 lanes on each level. So a lot of different challenges for them to come and try and test their skills. And then we're going to walk over here to one of our more popular attractions. We call it the volcano or the climbing mountain. It's also garnered plenty of other nicknames as well. But pretty much it's just a really long piece of really thick vinyl stretched out and anchored down for kids to run up and try to get to the top. And it has just a really nice, soft, spongy landing, so they can attempt again and again without worrying about falling. And again, as we try to do, everything connects to areas around it, so they can enter into the whole rest of the play structure through bridges and connectors just from going up the volcano as well. And then now we're gonna walk into the main part of our play structure. Really popular is the spider tower, where kids get to go up and down through a series of these elastic bands and land softly at the bottom. It's very popular, sometimes a little scary for parents to watch, but we promise they're made in a way to create soft landings no matter what level they're at. And then one of the more popular areas in here is the ball shooter area. So we have a bunch of foam balls and that shoot out of cannons up there around in this arena, and then a big ball shooter that will push them around as well. So it gets pretty chaotic in here with lots of balls moving around. There's also a ball dumper up there, so they can move balls up there and fill it up and dump the balls out. So yeah, with a lot of kids in here and a lot of balls shooting, it's pretty chaotic but pretty fun at the same time. The nice thing, these are really light in foam, so no matter how fast they go, they really won't cause too much damage. So a lot of fun throughout here. And then that brings us back to our party rooms in the back. We have 4 party rooms that can open or close into 4 individual rooms or 1 really large room. But we do a lot of birthday parties, especially on the weekends. Always a good time. And we have different packages that offer different times in the party rooms, as well as number of people and food and beverage as well. So yeah, that's about a wrap for Uptown Jungle. Thanks for following along, and hope to see you at Uptown Jungle soon.
All right, well, that was awesome. So joining me today is actually Brad Collins, who you saw in the video. He's the president and CEO of Uptown Jungle Fun Parks, and he grew up in San Diego, got his degree from the University of California, San Diego, but now he resides in Phoenix, Arizona with his wife and 5 kids. He worked in retail and construction before moving over to the family entertainment sector. And he started Uptown Jungle with his father and his father's best friend, and has grown it from 1 to 10 locations with more on the horizon. So we'll learn hopefully a little bit more about that. And we'll bring him in after a quick break. Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right, well, Brad, welcome to Behind Our Doors, and that was awesome. That was a great tour.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us, and thanks for checking out Uptown Jungle Fun Park in Levine.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe we can start from the beginning. What inspired you and your father and your father's best friend to start Uptown Jungle, and what was like the original vision for the brand in the first place? Because I'm sure it's evolved quite a bit.
Yeah, it has, and yeah, happy to dig in. So my father and his friend were invited to a potential investment opportunity for more of your straightforward trampoline park back in 2012, 2013, back when, at least in Southern California, it seemed like trampoline parks were growing pretty rapidly and the new and hot thing. So they were invited to an investment meeting, and they attended, and we're kind of intrigued by the whole concept of it, but started thinking, maybe there's something different we could do. Maybe there's something more we could do, and that's where the concept of Uptown Jungle was kind of born. Let's do a large number of different activities and attractions, and to be honest, we didn't know where we were starting, and didn't know anything about all the different wonderful associations in the industry and vendors, and and we're just kind of finding and buying and ordering things and attractions from new and used from different many places, from play structures to trampolines to inflatables. But lo and behold, we got enough to create a indoor entertainment center, and our first location was in San Diego, California. And so yeah, we put it all together and thought, hey, this is going to be great. Made the assumption that, hey, this is going to be for everybody too, and which I'm sure any marketing person out there is cringing a little bit, like, you need a niche market. So we opened the doors and we're successful. We even tried a few teen nights and got some really loud speakers and a DJ and all that. And
wow, teen night in Uptown Jungle. Yeah.
Quickly learned that the teenagers didn't come.
Yeah.
And but we turned inwards and embraced our concept and what the market was giving us as younger children. That's what Uptown Jungle is. It's really for kids 10 and under, maybe even 11 and 12. So we learned quickly what and who, I should say, who comes, and adjusted accordingly. So it took us a year or two to figure that out, not just the market, but also just operations and our systems and all that. And we said, hey, this is looking pretty good. Let's grow it, and had some trouble finding new locations in Southern California. Someone said, hey, try Arizona, and there's much more opportunity. And so that's the point that I moved out to Arizona, as we found some opportunities out here, and kind of the rest is history. Now we're up to 10 locations. So we have 6 locations in Arizona, 1 in California, 2 in Las Vegas area, and 1 in Utah. So with a couple more on the horizon. So I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. Maybe you could talk a little bit, because the first year you said, obviously you dealt with some of the challenges of just figuring out the right market, figure out operational. Like, maybe walk through some of those early challenges that you faced when you just had your first location. We can talk about challenges that happen when you start to grow to second and third locations. I know that changes things too, but yeah, maybe talk about a few of the things that stood out in your mind from some of the struggles you dealt with early on.
Yeah, the first one was a little challenging because, when you're diving in like that and it's a new business, it automatically becomes very kind of mom pop type. You have family members doing this or that, whether it's for free or discounted rate, whatever it is. And you have to create a model that is expandable and say, hey, I can't have my mom doing the payroll and schedule anymore. I got to have a manager in here that's actually going to run it so I can replicate this. And so it's all those little small things that kind of make it a small business, a mom and pop, that you kind of have to take out, even if it's going to cost you a little bit more money, just so you know what the realistic cost is and that you can replicate it.
Yeah.
So once you do that, it's very helpful. I wish I had known more about, like I mentioned earlier, the wonderful organizations out there like IAPA and IATP and so on and so on, and to learn to connect with vendors more, from everything from insurance to parts to attractions and marketing. I think it's just one of the things we had to learn the hard way. But yeah, once we kind of got to that point and could take a step back and say, okay, this location is operating on its own. All the costs are realistic. And it's profitable, now we said, okay, now we can make more of these, we can replicate this. We have a model we can replicate.
Yeah. When did you first come across some of the associations? I mean, maybe you knew about the Trampoline Park Association because you had been approached by but maybe not, right? Because
I still didn't. It took us a few years, and
wow.
Well, someone's like, hey, come to this thing called IAPA, and you go out there and there's 30,000 people or however many it is. You're like, your eyes are wide open, and you just kind of taking everything in, from a fire hose, from classes and education to new and potential vendors and everything in between. So
Well, it's really impressive that you developed your concept and even found vendors and attraction vendors and others without being a part, or at least having visited one of those trade shows and one of the IAPA trade shows. How much did your concept evolve or change, or your attraction mix evolve or change for future locations as a result of now your eyes are opened to all of the things that are available?
It changed a lot. I remember attending IATP, which is for trampoline parks and adventure parks, and they definitely dial in on safety
Mm.
and proper policies and procedures, and that was very eye opening. You realize you have a lot of work to do to catch up and do your operations the right way. So that was really helpful. And then just both IATP and IAPA were very helpful with finding solid vendors. Some of these vendors are huge. They're some of the best in the world and do things the right way. They don't cut corners. And it's not only the equipment they're providing too, but also the service, the expertise. It's not just an owner's manual. It's a way of doing things the right way and trying to hold safety in the highest regard in these parks as well. So those steps into those vendors were extremely helpful, and we changed. Our second park, from our first park to our second park, was completely different. We had these great vendors that we still, many of and most of who we still work with today, come in and help us design parks the right way and operate in the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe you could talk a little bit about the selection of the theme and the concept. So you obviously chose to go a soft play, more like active play. We'll call it active play because it's not all soft play, but like active play entertainment. But you also have a theme involved, that city theme. What, going down that choice, maybe talk a little bit about that. And then how you think about branding all of your stuff. So like custom videos, custom signage, like when did that come into play as well? Was that right out of the gate, or was that something that evolved over time?
That was right out of the gate, and then but evolved as well. Right out of the gate, it was city themed, but it was much more I don't know how to say, I guess, adult looking. It wasn't attractive to kids and young parents. As I mentioned when we first opened, we thought this was for everybody. So it was much more universal looking. And then as we realized, the younger kids are much more our niche. That's when the solid, brighter primary colors started coming in, and more kids actively playing on the equipment, and things that would appeal to young parents with kids of that age. So yeah, right out of the gate, we were pretty strong about it, but we definitely had to evolve. And even with that evolution, it continued. We try to keep our theming and branding up to par with what connects with those younger parents. Even right now, and it's not just us. I think you see it everywhere. For example, nostalgia is huge, and retro is big and connects with millennial parents. And so you see a little bit more of kind of that 80s or 90s influence and some of the branding today. And that's ours too, because we need it to be attractive to those millennial parents. It's not we're trying to secretly do it. We're pretty open about it. I know there's a lot of other brands that do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've pretty much embraced the Uppy mascot that you've created. Maybe you can talk a little bit about when Uppy came into play, like how you went through the creative development of that as a mascot, why you chose to go with a mascot in the first place, and just talk a little bit about Uppy and what Uppy has maybe done to elevate your brand.
Yeah, great question. So ever since we opened, everyone kept telling us, you need a mascot, and we just kept saying we don't want a mascot just to have a mascot. Like it needs to have a little bit more purpose behind it, and fulfillment behind it. But it got to a point where our marketing director, Jeff, my brother, and I kind of put our heads together. And we said, well, if we are going to do a mascot, how can we make it more than that? And so we did do a mascot, and his name's Uppy. He's a friendly kind of teal colored monster, and we did tons of research, looked up every mascot we possibly could out there, and took notes down of what makes this mascot work, why do people like it, and all those things. But even almost more importantly, that we paired up with the mascot is we have a YouTube channel for the mascot, and it's really for kids maybe 8 and under, and it's fun, and it has a little bit more educational purpose to it. So it's out there on YouTube, and we get a lot of compliments that it's not just some of the junk or what people refer to as brain rot now out in the video space for kids to watch, that it's just good, wholesome educational entertainment for kids. And so we have that YouTube content out now, and kind of made that the meaning of the mascot. And but I will say it's definitely exciting when I'm visiting a park and some little kid walks in with her Uppy shirt on and her Uppy plush doll, and she's like, "Where's Uppy at?" And we're like, "Well, we were planning on bringing Uppy today, but since he walked in, we definitely will have Uppy come out today." So it definitely enhances the experience, and hopefully helps families in a good, wholesome way take Uppy from the park into their own homes by being able to enjoy it on the YouTube channel as well. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did not know that you had a YouTube channel as well for it. And I mean, like, you were probably doing that even before Chuck E. Cheese, maybe right around the same time. But I mean, that's impressive to have developed a whole YouTube channel and content around your mascot as well. So that's great. Keep them engaged in the brand as they go home. And then obviously they love, I mean, it's an adorable mascot, like very well done. So that's awesome. And I love that you've, some of the signage around was like you had the Up Dog for the hot dogs, is the Up Dog at the Uppy Mart. And so, like, again, you've done a great job taking that and infusing that across your entire entire venue as well.
Thank you.
With the merchandise, you mentioned the girl comes in with a little Uppy doll or the Uppy shirt. How has that really helped to elevate any revenue levels, or has it really just been more about marketing and branding?
It's more about marketing and branding. We don't make too much off of those, but for the kids who really like them, it's perfect for them. So it's mainly for the marketing and branding, and even though some of those T-shirt designs, we try to make it in a way where, as parents as a parent myself, and also our marketing director and designer, being parents too, like. Let's just create a shirt that's nice looking for a kid that they could wear to school, not some junk take home thing that you consider throwing away once you get it home. So just trying to make some good quality shirts, and that way those that are really fully and putting themselves into the marketing and branding of Uppy and the show, and that have a little something extra to take home as well.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure the shirt, the quality of the shirt and the feel of it too, it's not like one of those free shirts you get at a football game or basketball game. Right. It's like shot out of a cannon or something, it's like the size of the shirt and you're never going to wear it. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned that safety is really important. And so how do you balance making sure the kids are having fun, they're climbing on stuff with safety, and then also just operational efficiency in like a super active environment with kids running everywhere and parents that aren't necessarily always able to see where their kids are?
Yeah, great question. It starts with design. We really try to design things that, are not high risk, in the best way we can. And we're constantly changing too. We're constantly challenging what we have and saying, can we make it, safer? What can we do without, ripping out the fun aspect of it? So we're constantly challenging ourselves. And then we just try to make our safety operations very simple and straightforward. I constantly refer to two videos when it comes to safety and safety operations, and that's the old Geico commercial with, so easy a caveman can do it.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to make it that easy. And there's another really funny YouTube video out there about kids giving their father directions on how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
And he takes all their directions very, very literal to the point he's just messing up every sandwich until the kids finally catch on that the directions have to be so detailed and so direct and so spot on. So he even puts the lid on right or uses the right side of the knife, all these things. So we're constantly referring to the Geico commercial and making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches as making sure our safety operations are very, very simple and straightforward, but check all the boxes as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the systems and tools that you that have been like, I would say like game changers or elevator, like helped to like move things up a step function within your, for your team in terms of just streamlining operations or enhancing guest experience or whatever that might be?
Mm-hmm. We recently switched to a product called Jolt. We were using some other kind of checklist apps before that. But Jolt has the ability to assign specific tasks to people or in general. And so it's the way we kind of do it is it's kind of nice. Our managers and staff like it that they can show up to work and it's like, oh, I have exactly what I need to accomplish today. And so now there's no guessing work. There's no questioning like, oh, did I get everything done? As long as they know that they fulfilled their checklists, then they're good to go. And it's not just checklists. I mean, it includes QR codes to make sure they're checking things. There's triggers throughout it. So if something wrong does happen, it triggers a series of follow-up and involvement of other people. And all those things so you can kind of set it up and leave it and let it do its thing without having or without the need of constant supervision. So it's been really nice, and we implemented that a few months ago, and continue to implement even more through it as well.
That's awesome. So this is something that's relatively new, and you've already seen a profound impact from the implementation of a system like this.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, interesting. That's awesome. So how do you've got a large staff, across multiple locations, but then you also have corporate staff as well. What are you doing to help develop culture or certain values or the way that you make sure you're hiring and everything else within your venues, but also the corporate level?
Yeah, we've changed our management structure at both levels quite a bit. But one of the main reasons we have, especially at the park level, is we want to make sure there's a clear upward mobility. So if you're 15 and starting your first job at Uptown Jungle and that you can see like, oh wow, I could be a manager someday. There's a pathway for that instead of like, how do I ever become like them? They're way above me and they do all these things and I don't even understand. So we really wanted to create, visible stepping stones for the staff. So the nice benefit of that is as people get promoted or go on to chase their dreams, whatever it is, and we lose people, most of the time we have someone internal ready to step in. And so rarely do we have to hire from the outside. And then we also have several different corporate positions as well that people in the parks have filled. I think most of the people on my team, especially in our operations team, have all come from being managers at the park level. Well, actually, I can say all of them have on our operations team. So a lot of upward mobility and clear paths that people can see. And people like that. They like knowing that and seeing it, even if it's not them, at least they know like, oh, wow, they're always pulling from within. They rarely go from external candidates.
Yeah. Yeah. That type of very visible history as well, where they can see it over time, I'm sure ripples through the rest of your staff as somebody comes in, and especially if somebody's new, they're getting trained. They're like, hey, yeah, like this is, you have a very clear path because it's you're doing it actively. It's not just something you're saying. So that's great. When you began to expand to multiple locations, what were some of the lessons you learned about just scaling, both a brand, but scaling operations from, let's say from not necessarily your second location, because almost probably like a first location, given the fact that you were alone in Phoenix, but as you began to expand to multiple locations in Arizona, and then as you thought about going to Las Vegas and Utah as well?
Yeah, the early days of expansion are really tough. And really what got us through it is that I hired people that are people who I would not hire today as a general manager, but at that point then I did hire. They were just much more entrepreneurial, experience, could figure things out on their own. At that time, I didn't have, handbooks fully written out and processes fully ironed out. There's just some times where I would just have to give them the full autonomy to go figure it out and get it done.
Yeah.
And, and so that's really what got us to where we're at today, is having managers like that I could give that autonomy and trust to get it done. Where today it's different. I don't need those managers because we have all these processes in place and people to support them, and handbooks and guidebooks and other people around them that do the same job that can help them out. And so it's just not that there's just not a need for that anymore. Mm-hmm. But early on, going from location 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, that was probably some of the harder times, and what got me through it was having people like that I'd hired that could just take the ball and run with it.
Yeah, that it makes a lot of sense as you as you shift your hiring model ultimately, but it also probably makes it easier to hire now. I mean, you still are hiring for culture and everything else, but it's less of a very specific personality type you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Now the job of a general manager is much more cut and clear today than it was, 5 to 10 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking about marketing, what were some of the marketing strategies that have worked best over time, maybe work best currently for you, for just driving guests through the door the first time, but also multiple times? And then, look, you're a 10 and under, 12 and under place. So birthday parties are a huge part of your operation, I'm sure, and revenue. And so also, driving additional birthday parties.
Yeah, I think that goes two ways. One, like I said, I'm a father of 5 kids, and I'm cheap. I'm I'm a cheap person, and sometimes I challenge myself and others in the company. We get excited about a certain package or product getting really popular and selling well, and your first instinct is let's raise the price. And sometimes that's not. I mean, sometimes that is the right answer. I'm not taking away from that, and sometimes it's not. You got to put yourself, take off your corporate hat and put on your parent hat and say, there's no way I'm paying that for that, and just be real, try to be real with yourself as a parent. What makes sense? What are people actually going to pay and be happy about it? And so it's really important to make sure you're touching grass and down on earth when you're considering things like that, and being a parent. And then number 2 is I feel like our niche has just really helped us be and not that because of the specific niche we're in, but just because we know our niche. And so all our marketing is definitely more towards the millennial age parent, with kids ages 1 to 10. And so we can get very specific on what that looks like and what that means. And so I just really encourage anybody, make sure you really know your niche. And if you don't, try creating some marketing pieces that are really dialed in or specific, and see how it responds. But figure out your niche so you can get really specific with your marketing. And, I've had people who are over 60 and have an empty nest at home. They're like, well, I don't see your marketing. I'm like, that's perfect. That means it's working.
Exactly.
I don't want to waste marketing dollars on something like that. And so, so know your niche and make sure the marketing dollars are well spent towards it. And lastly, I would strongly encourage. I know a lot of like us and trampoline parks and other FECs require waivers or collect other customer data, whatever it is. Dial into that customer data and use it well. It's out there for you. So use it well and appropriately, and you can send very specific marketing pieces to very specific small groups of people that are very effective.
Yeah. Having a birth date and an email address attached together through a waiver is like the best marketing goals you could ever have. You have to do something with it, obviously, but just having that data is huge. Yeah.
And I would also encourage people not to be afraid to get involved in text messaging with people. It's so convenient. It's less disruptive. People don't want to be disrupted by a phone call or some of that. It's like text message is so easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So looking to the future a little bit, how do you envision the brand, the overall experience with maybe potentially new attractions? You've already mentioned some changes to your F&B. How do you see the brand and just the experience evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, we really like what we're doing. And myself and our team constantly try to challenge what we are and we aren't doing. And so, like I mentioned that video, we're selling pizzas in some of our locations now, and soon all of our locations will have it in the next couple of weeks. It's a big change for us, and we expect food and beverage to be a bigger driver for us as we dive more and more into that. So it's not just constantly changing everything we're doing to increase the experience, increase the profitability, increase safety, whatever it is. So at this point, we feel like we're through our 10th opening of a park, and we really like the design of our 9th and 10th parks. The Levine was our 9th park, and like our 10th park in Sandy, Utah. The design is very similar. We're really excited about those designs and kind of want to keep those moving forward. And then hopefully behind that, continue to push what we do internally. And sometimes it's not about increasing sales, but finding ways to increase customer spend within or more profitability with what we already have. So,
yeah. What advice? So final question here, I guess. So what advice would you give to new or aspiring FEC? We don't even call it FEC, but like location-based entertainment, active play operators who are looking to get started or just getting started?
My advice would to be to learn as much as possible. Like I mentioned, the first year I went to IAPA, we were already a year or two in. It was difficult for me to only be there for several days. I needed more time, both connecting with vendors, but also partaking in all the education sessions. I'm grateful for all the people out there that not only taught the sessions, but then answered the dozens of questions that I had afterwards, or took time to exchange emails with me. I even had someone that met me for lunch at one point and answered probably a list of 100 questions I had. So learn as much as you can. There's some people that are already doing things in an amazing way. So don't make yourself learn the hard way. Take their advice and run with it. There's just so much out there to learn from. So definitely just learn as much as possible. And I know I keep mentioning IAPA, but IATP for trampoline parks and adventure parks is a great place. I know there's Birthday University and all sorts of different things and things that LBX puts on as well. But yeah, just try to take it all in and learn as much as possible.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Brad, thank you so much. Congratulations on building a great. I mean, it's a great brand. It's a great venues, great business. So, and thank you so much for taking the time and joining us for Behind Our Doors.
Thank you, Brandon. It's been a pleasure.
All right.